Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good whatever time of day it may be for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Layback Gamer, and we have a new post from, well, for Anomaly. And from the looks of it, it's going to cover a few things. There's some bug fixes, some changes, some bug fixes, and a bunch of that stuff. I'm not going to go over all the fixes because, well, there's a lot of them. But we can have a quick view of it. But we'll just go ahead and look at this. Not to worry, you'll still get your daily dose of Rimworld Anomaly Let's Play. Just want to go over this and kind of review it. A, for myself, and B, maybe some people might enjoy it. Anyways, Ty here. We are loving your Anomaly stories. Well, that's good. Please keep up with duplicating babies, shambler babies, and Grey Labyrinth baby drama. I'm sensing a theme there. This expansion explores new ground creativity for Rimworld, and it's been incredibly gratifying to see people having new kinds of stories in the game. Albeit, I have to admit, it is kind of a very specific story that is being tailored, but it is they are fun stories nonetheless. Oh, very fun. Releasing this brings massive amounts of feedback, which is always incredibly valuable for us to understand how the game is playing and what people want. This time around, many people have said that they like to be able to mix anomaly content into the rest of the game, so it feels less of a self-contained experience and more of something that integrates into a normal playthrough. Oh, goody! Yes, that was actually going to be one of my things I review. Well, once the 31 days were up, my review of Anomaly, I was going to bring that up because, well, Anomaly seems to be a very self-contained experience. I've actually been playing quite a bit of it lately. I'm far ahead. Like, farther ahead than what I have currently up. And honestly, it's like it seems to just be very isolated. Like, heck, I think I could count on my hand how many times I've been raided, or on my hands, how many times I've been raided by outside people. That's that's a bit extreme in my opinion to be able to have that few raids, and it has actually been hurting my playthrough a little bit, but you guys will see that a bit later. Originally, we had Anomaly throw a ton of content at you guys because we wanted to make sure people would experience all the new stuff and see how much there was. We may have pushed a bit too far. Anomaly has tons of content, and exposing it all too fast was saturating the experience. It's a great this is great for a certain type of intense, focused playthrough, but the game should also support other playstyles. I agree with that. Having so many anomalies getting thrown at us with barely little interaction from the rest from anything else, except for biotech and a bit of ideology, but the ideology is kind of on my own end. So, today we'll be addressing some key changes. Anomaly content is less dominant by default, while the monolith is active. You'll see more incidents from the base game and other expansions now. Thank you, because again, I've encountered far more stuff from Anomaly than I had from the base game. Like I said, raids for one instance, I've barely had those. I've barely had any traders come by, and it's a little difficult to try and create your bionics when you don't have any traders to trade stuff with. Excuse me. You can customize how anomaly focused you want your playthrough to be. We've added sliders to the game settings to let you choose how much you want anomaly horrors events to dominate the game. If you want it to be pure horror while the monolith is active, you can. If you want the horror to be a light sprinkle on the top of the rest of your rim world, you can do that. You can alter these settings at any time in the options menu by opening the storyteller settings, and this is possible on games started in previous versions. Okay, so I think for our series, I'm going to try to keep it up fairly high so that anomaly, it is the main focus of the playthrough. So I want to make sure that it's there. That being said, though, for other playthroughs that I do with anomaly in it, it'll probably be less focused, especially the pit emergences, because that stuff can really easily disrupt massive sprawling bases. Not that many people would be making massive sprawling bases, but I know for my new Kowloon Walled City 2 series, which I'm not, well, I was initially hoping it was going to be starting up soon, but I'm still waiting on a couple of mods to be updated before I get into it, because once we get started, and it's expanded materials, just for the record. I'm waiting for those to be updated, especially all the ores, so that way I can have a bunch of it makes the game a bit harder, but also adds some nice new stuff into it. And when I spawn on a map and it doesn't have any of that stuff, then all of a sudden, hey, all these city buildings built out of stone bricks that I would actually want to take with me, and a ton of steel and plasteel. I should consider taking that. Instead of, alright, we got some copper walls, say here, germanium walls, iron, steel, bronze, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, that's what I'm waiting on for that series. But anyways, that's it. This is the anomaly part. This is an anomaly thing, not a new series. You don't need to see every entity on every playthrough. Oh, thank goodness. It's a little late for me because I don't need to spoil this, but I've seen almost every entity. I haven't seen the final entities yet. So, yeah, I've basically seen all the entities. Most of the entities at this point. We've reduced the number of entities you must interact with before advancing the monolith. You can still wait to see every entity, but it's your choice now. This spreads the experience further over more playthroughs if you choose. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, no, the starting scenario. We've updated the starting scenario to start with 3 researchers and a ghoul, up from tool. This will get you into the meat of the game quicker when using the scenario. Oh. Now you do this after I'm already knees deep in a playthrough. Actually, I should say chest deep in a playthrough. Oh my, I could have used that third colonist. I could have used him. We're still making ongoing minor changes as well. See the full changelog. We're still watching, considering other changes, so please keep telling your stories. And thanks for your effort in writing useful and rich feedback. If you liked it, blah blah blah, da 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 da. You can go ahead there. And yeah, so the major changes that have been made, I like being able to integrate Anomaly better into everything else, so it makes it, people want to play with Anomaly more rather than, okay, as soon as we're finished, as soon as I get my horror fix, I'm going to completely disable it. Now it's okay, maybe we'll sprinkle a light bit of it in. Just enough to keep it challenging. Because some of the Anomaly raids, honestly, I do like. For instance, the Flesh Beasts. The pit emergences and the pit gates, those I like. The Flesh Mass Heart. Oh, that we'll have to wait for that one before I say anything. There's also a couple of anomalies that, honestly, they very lackluster. Like, I'll say this one, the Chimera being, I think, is the worst entity because it's just very lackluster. Unless there's a way it's supposed to spawn in. Like, I know the maybe a bit of spoilers, but maybe is that episode coming up today where I encounter the Devourer? I'm not sure. I think it was one of the first ones I encountered. I'd have to double check, but the Devourer, you encounter it. Oh, here's a bunch of roaming Devourers, but at least they do something really interesting. It's, hey, we're gonna devour an entire colonist or mechanoid and try and digest it. Although, as I said at the time, I could just imagine a devourer trying to devour a centipede. Just imagine it opens its mouth and it chops on a centipede, and it's got like the back end of the centipede sticking out, and if it had eyes, it'd just be bulging out of its face, going, "Oh God, why did I choose to try and devour this thing?" It'll be. I am curious if the Devourer can't devour animals or mechanoids, depending on the size. Given how big I've seen it, we can see in here, I think a centipede is roughly the same size. I honestly couldn't see a devourer eating that. Most other things, absolutely, but maybe a mega sloth, the thrumbo, the centipede. I think those are a few creatures that honestly it would be a little silly to see the devourer try to eat. Just saying for the record there, just saying. So, anyways, here's a bunch of changelog stuffs. Reduce codex for level 3 from 17 to 12. Thank you for that, because I had a tough time finding the last entity. It was also the one I was dreadful of, but we eventually found it. Dramatically reduce the chance of getting a faction leader from skip abduction. Okay, I guess people were getting a bunch of faction leaders. I don't know if faction leaders are supposed to be tough, better than most of the colonists. But depending on that, that's either a buff or a nerf. Well, maybe because they're unwaveringly loyal. That could do it too. Reduce metal horror infection chance when an infected doctor performs surgery. Alright. Skulls can now be consumed by harbinger trees. Nice. That's a nice fix. Minimizes minor optimizations for food searching, roof safety, reduce remnant flammability to prevent it from being trivialized by fire. Okay, that's I don't think we encountered one. I didn't kill it with fire though. It was a little dumb. The revenant we will encounter, I can tell you right now, was a bit stupid. I want to tell so much, but I can't. Excuse me. Increase the upper end of blood rain duration for both incident and psychic ritual. Oh, goody! I don't like that. I didn't like the blood rain that much. Well, the negative effect of the blood rain. Still wondering how a Sangophage would go through that. I would think a Sangophage would probably be immune to it. If anything, it would probably just recharge the hemogen. Missing default, constructive, blah, null checks for getting invisible versions of materials. I didn't know that was a thing. Prevent strange signal quest from firing if monolith has been disrupted. Remove awoken corpses from scenario editor. What? Clarifies that ghouls created by ghoul infection and operations aren't hostile. That's one thing I haven't tested out yet. Can you turn a prisoner right into a ghoul and they'll fight for you? I gotta test that out when I can. Remove the... Nope, I missed one. Add customization, description for diagonal hidden versions of organ decay and crumbling mind to make them less confusing. Alright, thank you. Remove minimum threat point from obelisk incidents, to allow discovering more incidents with low colony points, increasing the earliest day that they occur to compensate. Update anomaly starting scenario. You got that one. Clarify anomaly threats. Hit skipped. Adjusted to active monolith frequency to allow blah blah blah. Dev tool to force and hit remnant hypnosis. Reduce entity he required to advance to waking monolith from 8 to 7 to avoid soft locking in ice sheet biomes. There's one that doesn't spawn in an ice sheet? I wonder what that would be. And that, I think that's to get it to, is that to get it to the final stage? And that might be needed to let's get it to the final stage, the awakened stage. I think that is. Or I don't know. What wouldn't spawn in ice sheets? Oh, maybe again, Chimera might not be able to. Pocket maps count towards the wealth of their parent map. Oh, goody! I didn't need that. Corpses now have a 6 window before they resurrect in a death pall. Oh, okay. I've definitely encountered this where they're down, like the colonists die, a raider will die, and then 10 seconds later, immediately get back up and start trying to kill you as a shambler. Improve. Okay, nice bit. I like the changelog so far. So far, so good. It's a good start. There's all the fixes. I'm not going to go through all the fixes. You guys can pause and read this if you want to. I'm not going to bother because I don't have the time for that. But Anyways, Anomaly being integrated better with the rest of the game, I like that. It's a good change. What they got down so far is a pretty good start. Personally, I kind of wish a couple of the anomalies would be a bit different, like the Chimera. Again, it's not that special. Doesn't seem to do a whole lot. Really, that might be the only one I can think of. I mean, the Gore Hulks, they're scary, but they really don't do much either. Unless you're not that great at handling them. They're pretty easy to handle. Even without Mechanoids, I have seen other people handle them pretty well. I don't like the Golden Cube at all personally, but, you know, that's just my personal opinion on it. Anyways, that's going to do for now before I ramble on any longer. Thank you for tuning in to this, to me reading over the post and giving my thoughts. When I'm finished with Anomaly or the 31 days, I'll give a review of the game, as well as I think I'm curious if anybody would be interested in me reviewing which DLCs would be best to get in which order. If you guys want to see that, then let me know in the comments section if you happen to be watching this. I might post a small video a bit later asking the question. You guys want me to see... Let me try that again. Do you guys want to see a review, a purchase review for the DLCs? So, yes. Yeah, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take it easy.